Dear friends, today I want to speak to you about two important issues which are going to have an adverse impact on the farmers of our country. One is the slew of unequal free trade agreements and trade deals that the government of India is entering into, and the other is the fertilizer crisis, which is going to lead to a huge burden on the farmers of our country and also affect the productivity in coming days. Systematically, over the last 3 decades, the different governments led by the Congress as well as the BJP have been liberalizing trade, and every protection that was there for the farmers of our country is being dismantled. The different governments have been going in for free trade agreements with very adverse consequences for the farmers of our country. We have the experience of the India-ASEAN Free Trade Agreement, which led to devastation of the farmers of crops like rubber, spices, coffee and tea in Kerala. And despite the experience of such free trade agreements, we find that the present government is going ahead full steam in signing free trade agreements with European Union, with United Kingdom, with New Zealand, and also a trade deal with United States of America. What is going to be the impact is something which we have to try and understand. Whom are the farmers of our country? The poor farmers, 86% of them are holding less than 5 acres of land. Whom are they going to be in competition in coming days once these agreements come into being? In United States, the average farm size is around 400 acres and more. In India, 86% of the farmers are holding less than 5 acres. The per capita subsidy that a farmer in United States gets is to the tune of 21 lakh and more. In India, a farmer gets around 31,000 or below 35,000 as subsidy per year. So you are having a highly subsidized American farmer with mechanized agriculture, and also the big corporate companies, big agri-businesses, which would push in their crops into our market, and the trade deal is calling for withdrawal of all import duties. This is going to see huge quantities of cotton, soya bean, and different other crops, including horticulture crops, which would be coming into India. And that will lead to big price crash for farmers of our country. Simultaneously, you are having free trade agreements with European Union, United Kingdom, New Zealand, and many other countries. For instance, in European Union, the kind of expenses or allocations for agriculture is humongous when compared to the allotment to agriculture in India. The allocation for the Common Agriculture Program of the European Union is the largest component. About 31 to 38% of the total budget is being spent on this head. And also the subsidies given to the farmers is huge. It is to the tune of about 7.5 lakh per farmer. Direct subsidy alone is so high. This is manifold higher than what the farmers in our country are receiving. We will again be pushing our farmers into an unequal kind of trade agreement, and products from United Kingdom as well as European Union or New Zealand is going to come at much, it is going to lead to a price crash in our country. So this is a circumstance that we are faced with. The Indian government is not at all transparent as far as the negotiations which are being carried out with different countries. It is not discussing or bringing the text before the parliament. It is not discussing these issues with the state governments. Under a federal system, and where agriculture is also very much under the state governments, the state governments are not at all consulted with, And these agreements are also coming when the agrarian crisis is very acute. In the last 11 years of Narendra Modi led BJP government, almost 500,000 farmers, agriculture workers, and migrant workers who come from agrarian backgrounds have committed suicide due to the crisis, due to indebtedness. It is in such circumstances our farmers are being put to further peril by these unequal free trade agreements. It is the need of the hour for all sections to unite against these policies. Also, there is no talk or no guarantee that the food crops would be protected too. In such a circumstance, we might have a situation wherein, like the ship to mouth existence, a situation wherein you will be dependent on countries like USA for our food needs in coming days at very humiliating terms. So it is to ensure that our food sovereignty is protected. There is the idea of self-reliance is protected, that all sections need to come together. In this circumstance, we are also finding, given the West Asian crisis, the Indian government and the Prime Minister himself leading the charge, calling for farmers to cut down the use of fertilizers by 50% and shifting to natural methods. It is to be noted that the total inept handling of the situation by the union government is being exposed by the Prime Minister's call for austerity. Firstly, according to the government's own admission, for the Kharif sowing season, only about 51% of the actual requirement of fertilizers is available as of now. And given the conflict in the West Asia and the Strait of Hormuz, we are not getting any new shipments of fertilizers due to the mishandling of the entire situation by the Indian government. So in such circumstances, this could also have big impact on the productivity in the coming Kharif season. So this is another problem. Already there is an issue of fertilizer prices rising in a big way. Long queues for petrol, diesel is also witnessed in many states in our country. And given that the monsoon forecast also is expected to be 15% below normal, in such circumstances, the high price for diesel, the shortage of diesel, and the shortage of fertilizers are all going to push Indian farmers into extreme distress. In such circumstances, it is the need of the hour that farmers of our country, who are called Annadata for right reasons, the rural poor, need all support from the workers, the other sections of society, and these policies of the BJP-led government has to be opposed in a united manner. That is very important to ensure that the farmers and their livelihoods are protected. We all know in 2020, during the COVID pandemic, the BJP government had tried to push forward the 3 Farm Acts. What the 3 Farm Acts aim to do, today it is trying to do through the back door. And with these unequal free trade agreements, with the fertilizer prices rising, fertilizer crisis, it is going to lead to a situation where farmers would be forced to give up agriculture or dispossess from their land. That is what the BJP government is aiming to ensure, that big corporates, agribusinesses would profiteer at their expense. The latest move to also open up the Food Corporation of India, the different silos where Adani and another company have bagged more than 60% of the deal, is also in this direction. it is in the line with the recommendation of the WTO and the Shantakumar Commission to privatize public stock holding. So this is another move which is also a very dangerous move as far as the farmers are concerned. To overcome this crisis, there is need for reversal of the entire gamut of neoliberal economic policies in the field of agriculture. We want the return of quantitative restrictions, the return of tariffs and duties to protect our farmers. We want a situation wherein fertilizer self-sufficiency can be ensured. Public sector fertilizer factories have to be started. There should be also a situation wherein no unequal free trade agreements should be acceptable to our country. The farmers' interests have to be protected so that big multinational companies cannot charge any price they intend to on agriculture inputs, whether it is fertilizers or whether it is seeds. There needs to be price control, and institutional credit should be ensured to all farmers, including tenant farmers. And also the demand of the united movement of the farmers, that is to implement the Swaminathan Commission recommendation of C2 plus 50, that is at least 50% more than the cost of production as the minimum support price. That is as a legal guarantee. This also has to be ensured. Only in such a circumstance we can have a situation wherein farmers' livelihoods are protected and they would not fall into the web of indebtedness and suicides that have been rising. That can be contained.